I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. We appreciate all of you being here in attendance. We'll start off like normal with the Highway Department. Jason? Morning.
Morning. No cuts, no bores, no permits. Bridge number 1, parcel 235 has been secured. Parcel 4 is ready for signature and scheduling soon. Parcel 1, they did not comply with the offer and has not replied with a counter offer. We'll be reaching out to him to see if we can get some type of a answer back from him or her or them. Bridge 108, that contract was sent out electronic signature. I think, Stan, you would sign that one. I have the draft copy here if you want it. Anyway, I got information back from NDOT that has been sent down to state for signatures.
That was the DocuSign, correct? I signed last week?
Yes.
Okay, forward back to you. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Bridge inspections for 2022 through 2025 Phase 2, the PO was received for $75,752, and the notice to proceed has been sent out to USI. Our compliance month is in October, so they'll probably be starting on them in that month. The EV grants, the Chevy Silverado, we're reviewing those quotes right now from Gates. One of the information we got back was just the cover sheet for the price, and it didn't list everything that pertained to it, so I'll probably be bringing that in to the next meeting. Road work wise, we'd hauled all the crushed concrete from Ozingas. Hauled millings from Culver, so that's been completed. We did Tulip State Road 110 to 20A Redwood, US 6 to 1st, 5C Hawthorne to Grape. Once that's completed, we'll be grading those out, then we'll be spraying Rejuve-Tech over them hopefully this week. The Howard County Vietnam Veterans Organization, that work has been completed. I did a draft just for review. If we could get something maybe on that lines for an interlocal agreement.
Jim, you drafted one, it's been several years ago that we used between Marshall and Stark County. I don't know if you remember that or not, but we had one, that was a number of years ago, so that's when Stark County was making pug for us and we were going over chipping
Yeah,
and
I
sealing.
remember it. I remember
Yeah,
the
but-
agreement.
Okay,
I'd have to look back. This one is supposedly a blank one, or is it a particular?
Nothing particular. It would fit for if we did business with Stark County, Kosciuszko County, Fulton County, St. Joe County, any county or city. But I think it's something maybe we should have something each time we do anything, probably sign.
Did you get a chance to look at this before?
I did not get a chance to take a look at this before. And when the one we did for Stark County, we knew specifically what was going to be the equipment-wise, and we had the commissioners sign that agreement. I don't know that this form suggests that it's going to be signed by the commissioners, one commissioner, highway superintendent, or what. And this also looks like there's rental fees involved, so there's money involved. I guess I'll just, without getting into too much of it, I think this needs to be reviewed and given some thought about.
And it's a simple form. I know the one thing that we ran into with St. Joe County was when we were grinding for them, ran into an issue with losing so many teeth. So they just replaced the teeth on them. That was something that kind of put into that a little bit due to what it potentially could be. And there's a mutual agreement in there too where there's just no cost. I mean, it literally is just signed off. Anyway, that's just a draft, so maybe review it, and if we can modify that a little bit, that would be great. If I'm not mistaken, Angie, you had mentioned the ADA today. Just a quick update from our side, we should have our punch list completed this week, the signs and lines in the parking lot. I think we had a door issue or something, but that's probably more under buildings and grounds and building, I guess, for maintenance.
Yeah, the ADA, MACOG have that documents, prepared those, which I forwarded out to everyone. We do have 2 resolutions to approve for that. If we want to wait until the next meeting and when you have your items completed, we can do that as well, but those are ready whenever anybody else is ready for them.
And that's all I got.
I don't see them on our agenda today. I thought they was going to be on our agenda today.
I have
just-
them
they just
prepared,
weren't
but I
quite
did
ready.
not put them on the agenda
Okay.
because I was unsure where we were at with that, and
Okay. Time frame, can we wait till next meeting?
well, I mean, we need to get them done as soon as we can.
Okay.
Those, just asking, them don't have to be all completed, do they? It just shows that we have started the process and you guys have adopted an ADA Title VI compliance. So if you accept that, then that means we can go ahead and move forward, then we're just working at it progressively to complete it, opposed to having everything completed and submitting.
I believe that's how it worked. But it's always kind of a work in progress anyway.
Swinging door, anything can pop up and
I think that's true, but yeah, I saw those, and when she said she wasn't gonna be on the agenda for today, I didn't really do a deep dive.
When is the
into it.
deadline?
I think the deadline's passed. The deadline was passed, and we've just said we're working on it, our understanding, and
We had sent a letter to NDOT that we were working on this.
You get anything back? No?
I didn't.
Did you?
other than they just want us to get it updated, because I think we've done that now at least twice. That it's been work in progress, and we've been working at it, so I think it's probably time to adopt one, which I think everything's there. I mean, MACOG's done the review on everything and went through, I think, all the buildings, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, and there's 2 resolutions, one for the accessibility guidelines and one for the ADA coordinator and procedures.
We've had those in the past, so it's just updating them.
Is Billy the ADA coordinator for up here?
Yes.
he told me he had his done last week.
Yes, and that's what I had forwarded out. That had all the information, it had all the contact information on there and all the other documents. There were some supporting documents, but I do have the resolutions ready today if the discussion came up.
What do you think, Jim?
I mean, they're pretty much the same forms as before, right, Angie?
Yes.
It's just we're updating who the coordinators are and contact information and things like that. It's the, you know, the key for the public is who do I contact about an issue or whatever the case might be, and also who's doing the reporting and that kind of thing. As I said, I really didn't take a look at them, but, you know, if they're pretty much standard and something we've done in the past, we're probably okay in approving them if we think that's necessary.
I don't have a problem waiting, I'm just worried about the time frame.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be done timely, but I don't know that we're gonna get penalized or there's gonna be any worse for wear if we wait till the next meeting.
Okay. And I guess I
Problem
would,
is, we have to be in compliance with federal funding.
Yeah, we do.
That's why we're doing this.
so.
You
what
could
should-
approve it and then, and I could take a look at it, and if there's something really out of bounds, I could let you know and go that way.
Bring it back.
That's what I
Well, conditioned it.
condition after the attorney's review.
Yeah.
That way it's on you.
Okay, thanks. Least of my concerns.
So do you have resolution numbers? We take care
Yeah.
of that right now?
Resolution 2024-5 is a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Marshall County, Indiana, adopting the Americans with Disabilities Act, accessibility guidelines for standards for accessible design and guidelines for pedestrian facilities in the public right-of-way.
Get all that?
Yeah. ADA guidelines.
Yes.
What was the other resolution?
And the other resolution, 2024-6, is a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Marshall County, Indiana, adopting the Americans with Disabilities Act ADA Coordinator and Procedures.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2024-5, ADA compliance.
Second.
Pending.
Further review by the attorney.
Motion made and seconded to approve ordinance 2024-5, the ADA guidelines, pending our attorney review and approval. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion on the second one?
Make a motion on Resolution 2024-6 for the ADA coordinator guidelines and contact information,
Second.
subject to the attorney review.
Motion made and seconded to approve ordinance 2024-6, subject to attorney review for the ADA coordinator and procedures. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Hey, Tori?
Yes.
Could you go back up to where Stan signed that agreement electronically? In our motion for you to do, did we make a motion for you to do that? Okay.
Last
I
month.
ju- Okay, I just want to make sure that,
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that motion to sign because it come with a single.
okay, I just want to make
signature.
sure
Yeah,
that that was part of the motion. Okay.
yeah.
All right,
I clarified that before I signed it, make sure
Okay.
that's exactly I signed the right thing.
Because don't they have that for the Form 2 that you have to fill out to actually be the signer for that?
Yeah, I think so.
okay. I just wanted to double check.
Yep. Yep, we did.
That's
Anything
all I
else,
got.
Jason?
That's all I got.
You want to have anything for Jason? Anything for Jason? Thank you.
Well,
I didn't see Rick.
Rick's not here.
Hannah's here on his behalf today.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Sorry.
I'm
Come
gonna
on
pass
up.
some stuff out real quick.
Please state your name and title and company you're with.
Hannah Clendenning from Barnes and Thornburg.
Okay?
Got some stuff for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
It's good to speak with you again. So I know we've talked to you guys a couple times now about this project, and we've been working with Mr. Clevenger extensively on the 3 agreements we have before you today. But just to give you a quick overview of what we're asking to be reviewed today, and then I'll open it up for questions. So under your solar ordinance, there are 2 different agreements contemplated by the ordinance, and then we've got an additional one in front of you today that just further benefits the county. So first, the decommissioning agreement. This is contemplated by the decommissioning plan in the ordinance. It provides for, it sort of re-articulates all of the standards that are in the ordinance regarding the timeline for decommissioning of the project, if the project is abandoned, so on and so forth, and then also provides details on the bond or financial assurance that the company would provide for the cost of decommissioning the project. So again, most of the agreement is just restating the ordinance, which is pretty beneficial to the county already. There are some spots where we even strengthen those requirements further. For example, the actual amount of the bond we've provided needs to be at least 125% of what the estimated decommissioning costs are at the time of evaluation. The idea being just to account for inflation or just sort of any unknown costs and things like that.
If I could then, and this will be reviewed every 3 years?
Correct, yes.
Okay,
And it would still be 125% every time.
125, but
Yeah.
if inflation goes up, that's
It would be
going,
like in 3
Yeah.
years, whatever the new estimate would be 125% of
Okay,
that amount.
all right.
Yeah, correct. So then next is the road use agreement, and this is in conjunction with what the ordinance requires, which is a traffic management plan. So this agreement provides in great detail several different requirements for pre-construction sort of evaluation of the current state of the roads and haul routes that will be used by the project, identifying procedures for routes that might need improved prior to construction in order to support all the traffic that's going to be on it, and then post-construction repair, and as well as some, during the project construction, any maintenance and communication that might need to happen. This also provides for a bond for the repair of drainage structures and any road improvements. I will note that there are just a couple dollar amount items that we are waiting to hear just to get Jason's okay on, just because we weren't able to get in touch last week. But the substantial form of the agreement has been okayed by both parties at this point, subject to your approval. But I think the only pending things are like the exact dollar amount calculation for what the potential bond amount would be, which we would like the highway superintendent to look at. And then also, we provide currently for a pretty broad and permissive, it's worded so that whatever improvements may be needed as the highway superintendent sees fit prior to construction, the company is required to do those. We just would like to hear if he has any more specific requests on the procedures or type of improvements that those might be for certain roads. So lastly, we have the economic development agreement. This is not contemplated by the ordinance, and absent an abatement, there aren't necessarily financial incentives for the company in this, but it does add several different benefits for the county that we wanted to make sure were in place so that you're best protected as the project moves forward. The first of those is a pilot payment in case there's a change of law that would change the assessed value of the project. Similarly, it provides for a guaranteed minimum assessed value of the project, both for the distributable property and the real estate, so that in case it's assessed less than what was expected, we've set a floor. And
that-
so in the event that the actual assessed value differs from the minimum, there would be a pilot payment made for that difference in the assessed taxes.
and what was the floor?
So
30.
for distributable property, for the utility distributable, the floor is defined as either the 30% floor, so 30% of the assessed value amount, or we've inserted an amount of $82,500,000 as the minimum assessed value. And then for the real estate, it's 30%. And then other than that, it just kind of outlines several just core provisions that are kind of restated and out throughout the other agreements as well, like assignment provisions. If any part of this project or any of these agreements are assigned, it has to be assigned to the same entity for each agreement, has cross-default provisions, so under the EDA, they also are required to comply with the other two agreements as well, and things like that. So I know that was a lot of information, and we've talked about this a couple of times, so I'd just be happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
The intent of the agreements is to make sure that the county's not spending money as a result of this project. So if the decommissioning agreement, we talked about this in the past, a lot of the landowners have those provisions in their separate agreements, but we've made provision on the county level if we get into some kind of a decommissioning situation. And the road use agreement's the same way. If the roads aren't strong enough, I'll say, to handle the proposed traffic for, loading, unloading, solar panels, the electric generating equipment, that kind of thing. It provides that the company would be responsible for improving that roadway so as to handle that. But most importantly, is after the project's completed, we make sure that those roads are as in good a shape or better than they were going in. And so there are a number of provisions as to how to guarantee that situation. And that's not uncommon, like if the state highway has a project and they're going to use a county road for a detour or whatever, making arrangements to try and document all those kinds of things. And both of those were, as she said, indicated by the statute or indicated by our ordinance, and council's been good about making sure that those agreements follow those ordinance, the regulation of the ordinance. The EDA agreement, there really wasn't any requirement on behalf of Tamarack to enter into that because we weren't giving them any tax abatement or whatever. So the fact that they've offered the minimum guaranteed items along the way, and there's a few other provisions in that EDU that are advantageous to the county that they have been willing to go along with, and that Rick and Hannah have been able to negotiate with the other company. So I think all along with this, there's a proposed resolution today to approve the agreements in form. Two of the agreements, the decommissioning agreement, the EDU, are actually completed and ready for final signature. I think you're suggesting to hold off on signing the road use agreement till we've got that additional information from Jason. But once that's completed and filled in, to then go ahead and approve that as well.
I do have one question. This is just for solar, correct?
Correct, this is just for the one solar project.
Okay. But in our development standards under section 6, it talks about energy storage installations must meet the associated development standards. So is this going to roll over into the energy storage, or how? I mean, is that going to have an impact on this or not?
I don't think the energy storage provisions would apply to this project in particular, because that's not what is occurring like on that.
I guess I'm saying it's in our ordinance, so that was my question.
For the energy storage or the solar?
It says on page 162, under section 6 of development standards, energy storage installations must meet and it talks at the top about being solar energy systems, but on line Q, it says energy storage installations must meet the associated development standards. So that kind of ties them together. I guess my question is, does that have an impact here?
I don't think so. My understanding of what you just read is that if there were like a battery energy storage facility or something like that, is that it would separately be storing energy from the grid, that those would then have to comply with the solar development standards.
Okay.
Which this project is complying with these solar standards from your ordinance, so.
So what now? What's your wishes?
So, if there are no further questions, then we would ask you to consider making a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the form of the agreements, so.
I will make that motion.
Which one are you motioning to approve?
I'm motioning to approve the,
It's on the screen, resolution.
oh, thank you, 2024-4.
This one?
Yeah, resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Marsh County approving an economic development agreement, a road use agreement, and a decommissioning agreement with Tamarack Solar. Now, my only question is, the road usage agreement, we are waiting for the highway superintendent to
Correct.
review before we approve that.
So the way the resolution is worded is that it approves in substance, the form of the agreements, and that changes are allowed as approved by the county attorney and the commissioners. So this just gets what we have in front of you, like set in stone, and then for the couple of outstanding items, the wording of the resolution allows for those small changes to happen.
Thank you for the clarification.
No problem.
My motion stands.
I'll second his motion.
Motion made second to approve resolution 2024-4, following the discussion you've just heard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries 2-1.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah.
Next, we have the attorney's report. You're up early today, Jim.
Pardon me?
You're up early today.
I am up early today. Okay. Before I get into the attorney report, I don't know if you want to handle these now. Do you have them under, we'll do it later, under Commissioner item. So on the attorney report, under old business, I got a note about Union Road EMB paving. Discussions with EMB paving representatives continue, and I need to follow up with all three of you concerning those discussions, so hopefully we can kind of keep that moving forward. Tamarack Solar update, we taking care of that particular matter. I see later on the ordinance enacting the Code of Ordinances 2024-19 is on the Commissioner's item for second, third reading. I don't know if you want to wait till then to deal with that one. That'd be fine. And then just kind of a FYI, the Marshall County tax sale date has been set for October 17th, 2024, commencing at 10 a.m. It's going to be conducted by SRI. Treasurer and the auditor will be making the appropriate applications for a judgment on September 30th and continuing with that process. And the list this year was not as long, I don't think, as previous years, so.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit shorter, but there were still quite a few new names on there.
So,
I think it started out longer than a bunch of people.
that's what it always does. It starts out really long and they kind of keep whittling away at it. But, and hopefully well, when we finally get to the judgment, it'll be even less than it is now. But anyway, just to kind of give you an update and let people know that they need to get with it if they're going to avoid a tax sale. So
Anything else for Jim?
that's all I have.
Anything else, Jim?
No.
Jim? Okay. Moving on to the auditor's report.
I have your September 3rd executive session minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made second to approve the September 3rd executive session minutes. All in favor, say aye. I'm sorry.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have your September 3rd regular minutes.
Motion to approve the regular September 3rd Commissioner minutes.
Second.
Motion made second to approve the regular September 3rd Commissioner meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have your September 5th executive session minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the executive session minutes, September 5th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Accounts payable claims.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the accounts payable claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And lastly, payroll claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll claims.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the payroll claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we come to the public comments, so if anybody wants to speak, but I will warn everybody right up front, we have a 3-minute time limit, and it will be enforced, so say what you've got to say quickly, please. Mr. Grolick, come on up.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm here before you as president of the County Fire Association. We've had 19 days without rain, and it looks like we've got the end of the month before we possibly have rain. Communicated with all the fire chiefs in the county, and I'm asking the commissioners to impose a burn ban until such time that we get some rain. Last year, you recall, we had a very large cornfield fire over by Bourbon, primarily because of the dry weather. And if we can avoid that again this year, that would be great. So before you, asking you to impose the burn ban.
I talked to Jack between meetings, and he said the drought is itching up towards the north. and it is awfully dry.
Yes, very much so.
So when you say a burn ban, is that going to cover everything?
I'm sorry?
When you say a burn ban, is that going to cover everything? Campfires and everything? Or I mean, how far is this going to go? I guess my question is.
Well, all it takes is one spark,
I understand.
so I think,
I guess anything that is not in a contained environment would be the
yes,
logical thing.
yes.
Yeah, I can't remember how your last burn ban, it was sort of just an executive order adopted by the commissioners, and I think it's specified,
And along with that, I'd like to see some
There's Jack.
mechanism of enforcement in place for that.
and I can't remember if the last burn ban had one or not.
So I missed the last 20 seconds walking from my office, but I figured I'd come in. I have
Who are you?
EMA Director Jack Garner.
Oh, okay,
Sorry,
thank
got to
you.
introduce myself. I have a copy from last fall when we issued a burn ban, and that did include campfires and other recreational fires and public fireworks displays. In the past, we can kind of set what level we want to issue a burn ban for. There's 4 different levels here, so we can, if we decide we want to allow campfires, we want to allow fireworks, I mean, that's ultimately up to you guys. We can pull those out of that ordinance. But the first 2 would be open burning of using any conventional fuel such as wood, combustible material, burning of debris, stuff along those lines that gets out of control a lot faster.
I would be in favor of outlawing the first 2.
And we can take care of this after the meeting. You can look it over then.
And what was the enforcement provisions?
The code?
I mean,
Is there a fine?
I mean, is there a fine? Does the
So
fire
traditionally,
chief go out and splash water all over a campfire? I mean,
you would call the sheriff's department. Sheriff's department would advise people to put out the fire. And from the last fall's one, I don't believe any fines were issued. So,
Isn't that the one where a combine or something burned up over at Bourbon, John?
yeah.
sorry?
There was a
Yep.
bearing got
It
hot
got hot and burned up.
and caught the corn on fire.
Yeah, caught the field on fire.
And we're getting into that season now.
What was the first 2 again, Jack?
So number 1 is open burning of any kind using conventional fuel such as wood or other combustible material with the exception of grills fueled by charcoal briquettes or propane. And then number 2 is the burning of debris such as timber or vegetation, including such debris that results from building construction activities. And this is all just stuff that I inherited from Clyde that I've just copy and pasted over.
so you can still grill on your back deck, but you can't sit around a campfire in your backyard.
I know yesterday when I went home from church, I traveled the road south and somebody was out burning sticks in kind of a residential neighborhood, and as dry as that grass is, kind of surprised the grass didn't catch on fire. Now, they may have had a water hose there, but I thought, gee.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be allowed either.
No, and, when you're in a residential neighborhood, when you have a lot of houses around you, you're opening yourself up for liability, especially in this condition.
I will say 18 counties across the state so far have issued burn bans, mostly south of here. But it's starting to creep further north. We get another drought update on Thursday. I'm expecting us to be bumped up a level to moderate drought in that update. I was planning on consulting tomorrow. I have a big meeting with all the other district EMAs. I was planning on consulting with them, see what their counties are looking at. But I think if we were able to justify it last fall, I think it's definitely going to get to the point where it's justifiable this fall.
Well, I think when John talks to the fire chiefs and the fire chiefs are encouraging this, we're not doing this on our own, but we're
And that's how it worked last fall, too. I talked to,
listening to those people that have to deal with this.
I talked to the fire chiefs last fall, too, and we put one out.
So would this come off when we get rain, or how would this work?
Whenever we
can do it
decide, like if we get
Yeah.
a big soaking rain over a weekend, then yes, perhaps. If it's a tenth of an inch and it only goes through the south side of the county, then that's a different conversation, so.
Travel advisor.
Yep. But we can take some time to look that over. I'd feel comfortable consulting with the other EMAs tomorrow on what they want to do, because we would be kind of the first ones up in our region to issue one.
So you're looking to do this today? Is that what you're looking for? I'm
I
assuming?
can do it today if that's up, it's ultimately your guys' decision, so I can do it today if that's what you guys want to do.
And
That would
that's-
be your
I
request,
would-
John?
I would think so, yes.
I make a motion that we issue a burn ban notice with the first two on the one from last fall in those categories of burning brush or any other building materials.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to issue a burn ban effective immediately until we receive some rain, correct?
At a sizable amount. I mean, it's going to take a
Significant amount.
lot, yep.
Yeah, until we receive some rain, a sizable amount of rain, implementing lines 1 and line 2 of the ban from last year. Did I say that correctly? Suit
Yep.
you? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, and then Angie, I'll take this over to your guys' office afterwards, and we'll get it signed and delivered to the clerk's office, and all that'll get taken care of.
Do we have to do this every 3 days? I know when we declare snow emergencies, we have to implement them every 3 days or take them off. In this case, do we have to do
General
that?
Assembly was trying to change that around for other
Yeah.
agencies too. But
Well, didn't our motion make it until we get a sizable rain? So does
Yeah.
that supersede the 3 days or not? I don't know.
I mean,
In the past, it hasn't required the 3 days,
Okay.
so.
All right,
and, you can always pull it off if you
Yeah.
decide, I mean.
Okay.
Okay,
And I'll take this and get signatures from you guys afterwards.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
can I ask John a question?
Go ahead.
You talked to me last week about your vehicle.
Yes,
Motor has
Seized up.
seized up,
yeah,
so you're driving your personal car for county business right now.
I am.
What would you, I know you got some estimates on replacing that engine, but I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not.
Well,
I think,
a remanufactured engine for that particular car's almost $13,000.
He's got some options we was going to talk about after the meeting, and I did tell him last week when he called me if you need a vehicle to go get the county van and drive it until we get this worked out. So,
what's our options? I mean, if we don't
our
do
options,
anything today and we have to wait 2 more weeks to
our
decide.
options are basically where you're going to spend 13 grand to put a motor in that, or we're going to spend a lot more money to buy another vehicle right now. And I don't have enough money, the vehicle he wants, in the account. Basically, I'd have to go to council to get more money.
See, believe it or not, a new vehicle, an SSV vehicle is $54,000, and a used vehicle is almost 50.
I thought you told me 52 with the warranty.
Yeah.
Well, I can't see putting 13,000. What year is that vehicle that you have?
2017,
And you already didn't you put a radiator or something in there?
yes.
Did. I agree. I don't think we should put 13,000 into it.
I don't either, quite frankly.
I got it. There's probably about $37,000 in that purchase fund right now. Will be left.
A couple years ago, I tried to trade that in, and it didn't, it got cut, but it would have been about $30,000 for a new vehicle a couple years ago with that trade-in. They offered me $18,000 for trade-in on that car. And now we'd be lucky to get $500 out of it.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna take a couple $1,000s to move radios and lights and that sort of thing, cot.
So what do you want to do?
I say if we can get a proposal or a couple proposals and act on this at the next meeting and
Yeah.
go to the council, and if you're short some money, just
Well, we're going to be short.
get an additional to cover the cost of it, because I don't see any use in putting money into it.
We're going to be about, I'm guessing 15, 16, I don't know, somewhere in the 15 grand range short. You want to go ahead and do that? I think you got some, but go ahead and get some proposals and bring them back next meeting.
I have a proposal from Ford.
Okay.
I've not reached out to Country Auto, but
Yeah, reach out to them, see if they want to bid or not, or if they, will give you a bid.
certainly, I believe we need a four-wheel drive vehicle.
Yep.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak? Jesse, all right, hang on here a second, sir. Go ahead. Come on up, sir. Jesse, you wait a second. Ma'am? Yes? Come on up. Would you both please state your name and address for the record?
Yes. My name is Sharon Rosinski, 4057 Olive Road in Plymouth. Then your name and address. State your name and address.
Leonard Mrozinski,
Your address, 4057.
4057
57.
Olive Road.
Okay, go ahead, whichever one wants to go first.
Okay. We're here today to represent the residents of Olive Road between 5th and 3rd Road, also 4th Road and 3B Road. On the corner of Olive and 4th Road, there's a two-way stop sign, which is on 4th Road. Olive Road has no posted speed limit signs from 5th Road through 3rd Road, and this section of Olive Road has a lot of dips in it, which make for blind spots. There's a lot of traffic on Olive Road that travels very fast, more than the 55 mile per hour. There's no postings, and I understand through the auto manual that 55 is maximum for traffic when there is no posted. We are more of a residential community here, and the homes are built closer to others and not like miles away. And I have a petition here of 31 signatures of neighbors who strongly agree that we need to slow that traffic down on Olive Road. People want to feel safe to ride a bike with their children or walk their dog, take a walk, ride their horses, or pull out of their driveway safely. Many people told me stories about close encounters with the traffic and of small animals that are dead on the road due to this. 2 times my husband was almost hit by the traffic. We're asking for Olive and 4th Road intersection to become a 4-way stop instead of 2-way. And also posted speed limit signs for a residential community.
Anything you would add, sir?
Well, that's what pretty much I had to say about, I was trying to back out of my drive, and pretty soon this car from the other side came and it jogged towards me and then jogged away. And they're just laughing at it, you know. So couple days later, there was another one like that too, but it was the opposite way. They go probably, I would say, 60 to 70 mile an hour on that road. They're using that instead of what is that?
Michigan Road.
Michigan Road. They're using that road so they can just fly through because there's nobody there to watch them. We had the police and
We've had the sheriff's department out many times.
yeah, many times, and they says, that's all right, just, you know, there's no signs, but at the end of our road,
Fifth Road.
Fifth Road, there is a 35 mile an hour sign.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of hills there, and by the time you pull out, there's a car right there. I mean, it's flying. You know, beeping the horn so you can pull back in. Someone's gonna get hurt. And one more thing.
Yes.
When we bought this property, I wanted to make sure that there is gonna be a sign, four-way sign at that corner, and a speed limit, you know, and they says, I don't know whoever we signed the
mortgage with.
yeah, the mortgage with, says that when this part gets built, they will have everything under control, and, well, that was 17 years ago already.
Okay, sir, you got to wrap it up. Your 3 minutes is up. Can you
Okay.
wrap it up here, please?
Yeah, that's so.
Okay.
So that's what we're asking for.
And just for clarification, was you the one that called me last week?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, and I questioned it, and evidently, it sounds like a realtor told him that, not anybody from county government.
Do what now?
A realtor told him that, not
Oh.
anybody from county government, is what it sounds like, so just for clarification, but would you give your petition to Angie over here, please?
will.
So, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Jesse, come on up.
Jason's still here?
I don't see him.
Okay. They asked me if they had road counts out there.
Well, I don't know about road counts. We did it up on First Road a couple years ago, and between Miami and 331. And what happened is there was people running 70 miles an hour and people running 50 mile an hour. So when they averaged out, it was 54 miles an hour, and there was nothing you could do.
Yeah.
And that's what we run into up there. So, not that these people are wrong, but that's just how it worked when you start doing road counts. So, go ahead, state your name,
Hey,
titles,
good-
please.
Good morning, Jesse Bohannon, President of Marshall County Council.
Tim Harmon, County Council.
We're here this morning. You all passed a vote of support to look at a public safety tax. If I remember right, it was just before the primary here in the spring. Mr. Grolick brought that request to the council following your vote. Our response to that was to create a study committee that was composed of 3 members of the council, Mr. Klotz, and then several representatives of other units of local government, folks with some first responder experience. And so we have looked at that issue. We've looked at the current county finances and the healthy surpluses that we have. And I know there's an option down the road to look at making some adjustments to the local income tax, options that would not include a tax increase, but that could set aside some funds for the first responders. But what the council would like to do immediately is to set aside somewhere around $500,000 to create a matching grant program where the county could pay roughly 50% of training and equipment, safety equipment, for the first responders around the county for primarily probably for fire and EMS. But the recommendation of our attorney and our municipal advisor would be that it is now in you guys' court to reach out to units of local government and to create some memos of understanding or interlocal agreement that would allow the council to fund that, because you guys, of course, have the ability to execute contracts and to create agreements. So that's what we're here this morning for, is to make you guys aware of that. The council is enthusiastic about the opportunity to provide some assistance to the first responders around the county without a tax increase.
Well, the committee hasn't concluded its work yet. We still have another meeting in October, but I would echo his sentiments that there is money there to do this, and it's a way to help out EMS and fire primarily, because that's what we're looking at, and then as we go forward in the future, we could look at other options. But committee hasn't concluded its work yet, but I think everyone is in agreement on the committee and the council as well, that we could help out without raising taxes, and this would be a great way. Jack Garner, our EMA director, surveyed all the departments. They all responded. We asked them to come back with their top 3 needs. Initially, we thought everyone would want radios, but that's 5 out of the 9 departments. So we thought that each department could have X amount of dollars in the grant, and they are allowed to spend it on what they need, whether it's certain breathing equipment or radios or whatever. So that's kind of where we'd like to go with this initially. But again, the committee has not concluded its business yet.
Yep. So if you guys have any questions or want to get started on this, like I said, the council is very enthusiastic about it. The money is there, and it is now in you guys' court to help us move forward with this as quick as we can. So,
Where are you taking the money from?
general fund.
General fund?
Yeah, there's a good surplus this year in the general fund. We started the year with 6.7 mil. The forecast on the Form 4B that was submitted a month ago actually has that 9.7 mil. So with all things being equal, nothing changing, there would be a $3 million surplus added to what we have on the cash balance from 23 to the end of 24. But there's money to do it.
Well, and I would clarify too, just so you guys know, there was discussion on certain entities can afford their share more than others, so we even talked about doing some kind of a weighted scale for that. I mean, Polk and Tip townships are gonna have more trouble than Plymouth, exercising the mat. So that hasn't been determined yet, but that was a discussion too, to try to do some kind of weighted scale to try to make sure they didn't get locked out because of low resources.
Yeah, and I think that's wise to look at doing some means testing and to, you don't always want to be completely redistributive, but, the reality is some folks need assistance more than others.
Right.
So, yeah.
Who's going to be the judge and jury?
That's going to be up to the commissioners. The council will set the money aside for it, but it's going to be up to you guys to,
Don't you have a special line item for special projects?
we do, that's got about 180,000.
Why don't you just put the money in that? Let us do the interlocal agreement, and you guys administer the doling out of the money.
And that would be fine to me if the interlocal says that
That would
the,
designate you guys, the county council, as the ones that would be responsible for
Funding.
taking all the applications.
and I always think that power sharing is good. So yeah, if that agreement states that the council will do the administration, I'm sure we'd be happy to do that, so.
Okay, any other questions?
Nope.
All right.
Thank you,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Anyone else here want to speak?
Stan?
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to comment on the speed limit issue. I remember Jason said in the past that we were looking at grants for for road safety. An idea that I floated by him just a long time ago, and I've had this comment directed to me as well, that people are concerned about the speeding around the county. Without Big Brother getting too big, some of those little radar speed limit detectors, not that they would get tickets, but they would just clock your speed. Those things are pretty effective. If you had some portable ones that you could put around the county, I know the sheriff's department would have to get involved, those are effective. I know when I come up to them, I slow down. And so that's a way, I think, to slow down some traffic without, having Big Brother too big. So just a thought.
Okay.
All right.
Jeff,
You're talking about the ones that show your speed, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not a lot of space on a county road to set those.
Sure, but just an idea. You have many municipalities a lot too, so just an idea.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to speak on public? Debbie, come on up.
Good morning.
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 Debbie Vandemark, 14750 Tulip Road, Culver. I have a concern this morning about the moratorium that's going to soon expire for our battery storage ordinance. The moratorium wasn't put in place due to the dangers of the projects and the lack of regulations and protections for neighboring property owners and the county. The commissioners implemented that last October, so it'll be soon to expire this October. The moratorium, the rules and regulations have not yet been established. There is a task force, and I think Mr. Burrows is on that task force, working on the ordinance. The reason for the initial moratorium still exists today. We still need a battery storage ordinance. And what I'm very concerned about is these companies are poised to move before the regulations are established. Since the moratorium is set to expire 1 month from now, I would request that you would consider extending that moratorium. At the Plan Commission meeting in May of this year, there was 7 members present. There was a vote 4-3 to put the moratorium on the next agenda, but because there wasn't 5 voting for it, it didn't pass. All they were doing was putting it on the agenda, and they said that it wouldn't pass. I'm not sure if that was right or wrong, but it shows that there are concerns, even with the Plan Commission members. I have concerns. I think many members of this community have concerns, and I would really like for you to consider extending that. There has been another option agreement recorded with the Recorder's Office just this month for another battery storage facility, in addition to the other one we have discussed. And based on that, I think that we should really make sure that the county gets a strong ordinance, at least to require these battery storage companies to file for a permit. And I know that the county can't regulate everything about them, but there are certain things that we can. I think that's all I have. Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. We'll talk about it in a minute, Debbie, okay?
You'll talk about it, what'd you say?
I said we'll talk about it in a minute on the commissioner items, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak? I see a hand back here. Oh, come on up.
Katie Llewellyn, 1085 East Shore Drive, Culver. I'm just going to read what I've written down. Back in April or May, the Plan Commission discussed an extension of the current energy storage system moratorium that's set to expire in mid-October. This is responsible planning and management of the county pending ongoing research and recommendations by the committee, that the Plan Commission itself created. Mr. Burrows, you are on that committee, which has only met once, and you heard the discussion and questions raised about the complexity of drafting a solid ordinance that could become a boilerplate example for other counties in this state. This is new territory for the entire state, and if the public health and welfare and firefighter safety are most important, as they should be, then time beyond the mid-October expiration of the current moratorium is necessary. Reports on case law are clear that our current moratorium does not regulate and district land the way a zoning ordinance does. It just preserves the status quo while the ordinance is being developed. A temporary moratorium or an extension thereof falls outside of the statutory definition and process of a zoning ordinance. Quote, because a temporary moratorium enacted to preserve the status quo during the planning and zoning process is not a zoning ordinance, the Home Rule Act, IC 36133B, provides local governments with the authority to enact such a moratorium, unquote. This applies to an extension as well, and the commissioners can vote today for that extension or of whatever term you all decide, 3 months, 6 months, or more. Plan Commission approval and public hearing have already taken place. Since this is not a zoning ordinance anyway, it is up to you all to extend the term while the committee continues to carefully work on its recommendations. Once the ordinance is finalized and adopted, you, the commissioners, can rescind the extended moratorium at a regular meeting since it is a measure to protect the status quo and not a zoning ordinance. State law definitions and the Home Rule Act confirm this. Commissioners, this could be a really big and important and lasting legacy for this county. And you all could claim credit for what will potentially be a gold standard BES ordinance that other counties refer to. Please motion and vote to extend the current BES moratorium for a specified number of months. It is not a ban, it's just a moratorium. Then terminate it when the ordinance is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak? Anyone? Okay, then we're going to move on to commissioner items. We have the ordinance 2024-19 enacting the code of ordinance for second, third reading. We passed first reading last meeting, and I asked to hold off, give the public a chance to respond, and I've heard nothing, so I'm comfortable if we move
Make a
forward.
motion to pass ordinance 24-19 on second and third reading.
Second.
Motion made and second, pass ordinance 2024-19 on second and third reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
We have the 2025 meeting schedule. Everybody look at it? Everybody okay with it?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the 2025 meeting schedule. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the 2025 payroll schedule.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the payroll schedule. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a holiday schedule, and I think,
I talked to Angie about,
yeah, didn't you have a question
well,
or a comment?
yeah, my comment was that they were going to be closed Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, but then I said something to Angie about taking Washington's birthday and being open Christmas Eve, but closed Thursday and Friday. So,
The holiday schedule does reflect that adjustment of being closed on Christmas Day and the day after, so it will be a 4-day weekend.
Okay.
I didn't think there was any sense in opening up, coming back on the Friday.
No.
You wouldn't get anybody, and nobody's gonna be around anyway.
No.
Motion to approve the holiday schedule.
Second.
Motion made second to approve the holiday schedule as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Then we had Hyperwave Consulting revised security camera estimate. I don't have that copy with me. Do you?
Yeah, the original agreement was approved back on June 3rd for $53,751.21. There has been, from my understanding, a couple of cameras that were added, which increased that. So we have basically a new agreement adding another $574.35. And my understanding of that is this is the final on this. Any other projects would be a separate bidding entirely. So this is just a change from the original with an increase of $574.35.
Is that just the 2 cameras for the maintenance rooms? I'm assuming, because I know there's talking about putting some cameras. There's also talking about putting some cameras in circuit court. But I don't think any determination's been made on that yet, so.
Yeah, I really was handed this, and
Okay.
Dan probably would know more from Hyperwave. And I don't know if he's here. I don't think
Libby,
he's
do you
here.
know anything, Libby?
Yeah, it does cover both. That's putting a camera in circuit and the two in the boiler rooms.
That covers all,
Yeah.
both of them? Okay,
Yep, everything's covered.
okay.
Was there one on the south side of the
Well,
courthouse?
they talked about putting some cameras on the south side of the courthouse.
I think that's in there too. We did a walkthrough with Dwayne and Denny in IT, so I think that's everything.
Everything in there, okay, for an extra 500,
Yep.
whatever it was. Okay, okay. You have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the additional $574.35 to Hyperwave.
Second.
Motion made second to approve the updated contract for an extra $574.35. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, we have the Jefferson Street parking lot.
And we got 3 quotes.
Okay?
We got a quote from Brooks Construction, one from Reeve Riley, and one from Milestone. This is for the parking lot across Jefferson Street. I didn't see the specs or the request for quotes, but we've received those. I'll open them up, tell you what they are, and probably want to just have somebody
Take 'em
take a
under
look at
advisement.
them and figure out for sure where we are. So the first one would be from Brooks Construction. The proposal lists what they're talking about, and the total cost is $48,140. $48,140. From Reeve Riley. Again, kind of that describes what work is to be done, and the proposal is for $92,229. $92,229. And then from Milestone. And again, there's an item specified, and the price is $53,500. $53,500.
You want to take these under advisement?
Make a motion to take these 3 bids under advisement and then bring back a proposal at the next meeting.
Are you going to have Billy review these?
Yes.
Second.
Motion made and second to take these 3 bids under advisement, have Billy look at them, bring them back to us the next meeting with a recommendation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I will tell you, I think I talked to Billy when we first talked about this, and I think he's got a little bit of money towards this, but I don't think he's got enough, the way it sounds.
Well, I think
I think
as the
he-
commissioners, we have money in
Well, we can do that too.
bituminous, and it's not a maintenance issue. It's, we bought the house with funding from the commissioners, and we shouldn't decide all the maintenance because it's not really a maintenance thing.
It's not. Well, that can be part of the recommendation next meeting. We
We
decide
can
that's what we want
take it
to
out
do.
bituminous out of our line items.
You can look at that. Okay. Anything else? You got anything? You got anything? I got a couple things. Number one, talking about moratorium. From what I'm understanding, the Plan Commission and their study committee, and Mike, you can know more about this than I do, but
First meeting was held and the second meeting is tomorrow, which I can't be at because Marshall Stark Board,
Right.
Drainage Board has a meeting.
morning. Well, my understanding, they're talking at multiple meetings, and it's going to take a while before they get something
Yes, it
worked out
is.
and have a recommendation. So
Yep.
obviously, this moratorium is going to expire before they get to that point. So I am not opposed to giving them more time to work on this. But if I'm the only one, it's a waste of time, I guess is my point.
Well, Jim, I need your advice then. If a battery storage company came and applied for a permit and we don't have an ordinance, what happens?
Well, we have an ordinance, but, so there would be certain provisions that they would have to follow. I mean, I'd assume they have some kind of a permit, have to maybe go before the BZA or whatever the case might be. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to review all that. But, I mean, when you put it in place, I'm not quite sure I agree that all of the issues that was the reason for the moratorium in the first place. I think the ultimate reason is we thought it would be better to have regulations in place so as, that were justifiable and so
Right.
forth. And that's why you instituted the moratorium in the first place. I guess what I'm saying is there is some checks, but certainly probably not what you would prefer.
Okay. Then I would make a proposal, I'll make a motion to do a moratorium that expires December 31st, 2024. Because that's when I'm done.
I'll second that motion. Motion made second to implement a moratorium on battery projects to expire December 31st, 2024, correct?
Correct.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain.
Yep. That's why I didn't look at you when we were talking. I knew you'd have to abstain, so, okay. Anything else we got to do, Jim? Do we have to draw that up and sign it?
What did we do in the last one? We do a separate signing of a moratorium? I think we just used the minutes.
I think it's just minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so need to let Ty know that's the case. I have one other thing. I know most people know. If you look back here on the wall, and there's a plaque below on that little table, that's the award Marshall County was given last week by Rosetta, the Rosetta Conference. I'll be brutally honest, when I went out there, I wasn't sure what to expect. But they basically, this conference, there was, I think, around 1,100 people there. And there was about 45 awards given out throughout the United States, at least at that conference. We were one of 3 municipalities that got one that I saw. And that the other 2 was the city of Ashtabula, Ohio, and the county of Ashtabula. What the focus of the conference was basically on new ways to implement healthcare and how you pay for them. You didn't see any traditional insurance companies there selling insurance because that was, they basically would have felt uncomfortable there. I think what I realized is more valuable than what I learned, because when you've got 200 people you're making decisions for on health insurance, how you're going to pay for it, it's a little scary. And I realized by the end of the first day why we got the award, because all these people are making presentations of what they're trying to do, and they've taken a couple years to get to where we're at in 8-9 months. And they want to get to where we're at now, the steps we've taken. And it's a process. I did go to a large, in the grand ballroom session on Thursday morning, first thing, that talked about the effects of a healthcare economy. And it talked about the impact of not only to the individual that has that major problem, but also the money it takes out of the economy overall, and the fact that people just don't go to the doctor because they can't afford to pay the insurance bill or the co-pays. And so it touched on a lot of things like it. It was very interesting in 45 minutes, so they don't give you a lot of answers. They just raise a lot of questions. So, but anyhow, I want everybody to know that's the award we received and the plaque down there, and I think unless you guys have something different, I think maintenance is going to put it in the lobby down here on the first floor by Denny's desk somewhere in the open. So, thank you all. And
I think we need to give kudos to Ryan Colvin and Melinda Lemler from Gibson Insurance, because they're the ones that submitted the county for this award, and they have done a lot of work on our behalf over the last more than a couple of years, since they've been back in doing our group health insurance. So
they're the reason we're where we're at.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're the reason we're where we're at. And so they did, and I found out when they make the applications, they're graded by a committee I guess they're graded hard. And like I say, I mean, we just started this 8, 9 months ago, and I'm thinking, what did we do to deserve an award yet? But then I get out there and listen to everybody else and thinking, we're way ahead of you, and you're making the presentation.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was enlightening, and it's kind of comforting to know that we're where other people want to go. So maybe we're doing something right. You know, I mean, there's still ways to go, and there's a process, but at least we're taking steps trying to do it. So there's the award. Everybody know what it's for, and we appreciate everybody involved, and the auditor's office, HR, for helping work on this stuff. It's been a team effort, so if that's the case, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, second, adjourned. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.